Hey guys, welcome to Clear Shots Plays. I'm going to be your guide tonight through one of my favorite games. I'm actually pretty excited to play this game because I haven't played too much of it on PC. It's a game called BioShock. Some of you may have heard of it. Some of you maybe not. I really hope you have, because it's an incredible game. Continue. I didn't even know I had a game started on this. Let's see what's going on here. That looks good to me. Yeah, that looks good. I'm gonna start a new game. Play medium. I'm gonna just walk you through the first mission. I've played this game. I don't even think there's a number for how many times I've played this game. But the story is truly something awesome, and I'll let you watch the opening scene here.
They told me, son, you're special. You were born to do great things. You know what? They were right.
So, it starts off, obviously you're on a plane, and it crash lands into the Atlantic Ocean. You're the only survivor, and it just so happens to crash right next to this giant lighthouse tower, and it leads you into an underwater city that has gone into chaos, essentially. Now, this game came out in 2007. It sparked two sequels, BioShock 2 and BioShock Infinite, along with some DLC. And those games were also very successful. This is the original BioShock. It's not the remastered version. This is the original BioShock. And this is on PC. Now, I'll probably suck at this because I don't really remember the controls too much on PC, because I've played this game primarily on Xbox. I do have the remastered version because I think when the remastered version came out, they just gave it to anybody who had the original version on their Steam account, so that was pretty cool. But I also have the BioShock collection on Xbox One, which is all three games with, like their remastered versions. However, I don't think Infinite got remastered. I don't think, at least. So anyway, you enter this tower and you find this bathysphere, which is like an elevator, sort of submarine type thing. And, naturally you just pull the lever to the thing that you have no idea about.
I am Andrew Ryan, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone. I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose
Rapture.
rapture. artist would not fear the censor, where the scientist would not be bound by petty morality, where the great would not be constrained by the small. And with the sweat of your brow, Rapture can become your city as well.
So essentially, this is an underwater city that he created to basically escape the way the world works. And some crazy shit got invented. They discovered like plasmids, and well, they developed plasmids. They discovered like this thing called Adam. And it's actually really, it gets pretty deep, and there's a big twist at the end of the game, and I don't know if it's been spoiled or not. I'm not going to spoil it here. But the story is really, really cool. There's a lot to explain, so I'm going to try not to, honestly. I want, if you haven't played this game, just play it. Like, just play it. And I know you've heard me say that before, but this one more so than any of them, I think. And try to go in with as little knowledge of the game as possible, or as little knowledge of the story as possible. So what I want to do with this is show you the gameplay and try not to spoil as much of the story as possible. So, like I said, I just want to show you like the opening level here. This game is kind of a horror game in a way. It's also kind of a shooter. It's also got sort of a magical sort of element to it with the Eve or the plasmids. So it's got a very interesting gameplay, and I think it's unique in so many different ways. Not only like the scenery, not only the gameplay, the way that the looting, you know, like just everything about it has a very unique feel. And it's difficult to explain until you play it, I guess. But I will say that a lot of it feels really good and it's well designed.
Just a bit further. How do you like that, mister? Now, would you kindly find a crowbar or something? Bloody splicer, seal Johnny in before they... Goddamn splicers.
So, these are the plasmids. Essentially, you inject yourself with them, and I always thought this was funny that he just walks up to it and like sees a fucking syringe and goes in deep, you know.
Code is being rewritten. Just hold on and everything will be fine.
So you can acquire different types of plasmids, and they give you special abilities like Incinerate, which creates fire, obviously. Electrobolt, which fires electricity.
Cherry popped. Wonder if he's still got some atom on it.
There's telekinesis. You can fire bees at people. There's some really cool plasmids in this game.
You're a weak
There's also ones that let you control enemies.
Always have been. You'll be no better off with Metal Daddy, little fish. See you floating.
And like I said, in a lot of ways, it's kind of almost a horror game because of the way that almost just the tone of the game is very dark. Not necessarily
Look, Mr.
scary,
Bubbles, it's an angel.
but I would say dark and
I
for
can
sure
feel
grim.
light coming from his belly. Wait a minute. He's still breathing. It's all right. I know he'll be an angel.
Now that's a
soon.
little sister. They carry a ton of this thing called Adam, and it's very valuable to the people in Rapture. And
You all right,
those that big sort of robot, sort of suited up looking dude is a big daddy, and they guard the little sisters. And essentially, anytime you try to fuck with the little sisters and take the Adam from them, those things come to their rescue and they fuck you up. They're somewhat difficult to defeat, but really it all is about going into encounters with the proper amount of ammo and supplies. It's one thing that I've found about this game that's somewhat, really the hardest part about the game is finding ammo and managing your resources to where you don't get screwed over in certain shit, like, you know, you don't put yourself in a shit situation by not having ammo or not having plasmids. So these are splicers. They're like the most common enemy in the game. So you can use your plasmids and then switch to your actual physical weapon. I guess kinetic weapon in a way, you could say. It's a Destiny term. Gotta mix in the Destiny a little bit, huh?
Who's there?
The wrench is very useful, honestly.
Tell Ryan I'm sorry.
I mean, you know, you can play through the entire game with just the wrench. I've done it. There actually was an achievement on the Xbox 360 version when I played it. And that was really the only reason I did it, because I probably would have played through it with just the wrench if that wasn't an achievement. But honestly, I found myself using it quite a bit, at least the first time I played through the game. And I still find myself using it quite a bit. It's infinite ammo, obviously. And you can use it really well in combination with the electrical plasmid.
To get them out of here, but the splicers have cut me off from them.
Because electrical freezes him basically in place, and
Just maybe.
you just run up and hit him with your wrench and you're good.
Man in the world right now, but you're the only hope I'll ever see my wife and child again. Go to Neptune's bounty. Find my family, please.
Now there's also abilities like perks you can unlock throughout the game based on how much Adam you have, and you get that through harvesting or rescuing little sisters. And whether you harvest them or rescue them, you get a different storyline. Now I will say, if you're gonna go for the rescue storyline, you have to rescue every little sister. Do not harvest any of them, because the second you harvest one of them, it's, you know, you're gonna get the alternate ending.
Why can't Mommy hold you to her
Now,
breast?
this is the part of the game that was the demo for BioShock, so I'm essentially playing the demo right now.
No.
I believe we actually talked about this scene on a podcast at one point, where the woman is talking to a revolver, which, where did it go? Oh, it fell on the wall.
Changed everything. They destroyed our bodies.
She's basically talking to it like it's a fucking baby.
Best friends butchering one another. Babies strangled in cribs. The whole city went to hell.
I'm not gonna spend too much time like looting and shit, I guess.
It's my Adam. I earned it.
I say that, but like I can't. I always do it.
Open the damn door!
I just spliced him. Nobody's gonna want me.
So there's audio diaries that you can pick up throughout the game. They will give you a very good chunk of the extra parts of the story. And I believe there's also achievements for getting all of them, like in most games that have audio diary of some sort.
Careful now. Would you kindly lower that weapon for a minute? You think that's a child down there? Don't be fooled. She's a little sister now. Somebody went and turned a sweet baby girl into a monster. Whatever you thought about right and wrong on the surface, well, that don't count for much down in Rapture. Those little sisters, they carry Adam, the genetic material that keeps the wheels of Rapture turning. Everybody wants it, everybody needs it.
So like I said, if anybody fucks with a little sister, the Big Daddy shows up, and you know, he basically wrecks whoever is fucking with him. Now what's interesting is in BioShock 2, you play as a Big Daddy. Which is pretty badass.
That's the Big Daddy. She gathers Adam, he keeps her safe.
Unbound. What the hell? There we go. The Big Daddies aren't super difficult to kill, honestly. As long as you have ammo, and armor-piercing rounds help a lot. There's other types of ammo. There's electric shotgun rounds. There's armor-piercing. There's anti-personnel rounds. So there's lots of different types of ammo that you can get for each gun. A good chunk of different weapons in the game. There's a pistol. There's a machine gun. There's a shotgun. There's a flamethrower. I think it's a chemical thrower or something. I don't use it too much. There's a rocket launcher, like a grenade launcher. So there's a good chunk of stuff in here. I use the machine gun primarily, honestly, most of the time I play.
Security alert in progress.
Machine gun, pistol, and wrench are really my go-tos. The looting is really simple, honestly. It's pretty much all one button. And there's not a lot of times where you need to pick and choose what you take. So the looting system's kind of set up that way, so you pretty much just take everything. It's literally just, most of the stuff I get off of people is ammo or cash, just whatever. There are safes that you can hack your way into. There's bots that you can hack that can get to work for you. There's turrets like this one right here that you can hack, and I just got burned by that one. And the hacking is like this little mini game that I'll eventually inevitably end up showing you. In BioShock 2, it's a different minigame, though. It's a lot easier in BioShock 2. It's just sort of this little thing that goes side to side. You just press the button when it's in the right zone. It's just a timing game. In this, though, it's a little bit of a minigame.
KGB wolf with a CIA jackal. Here's the news. Rapture isn't some sunken ship for you to plunder. And Andrew Ryan isn't a giddy socialite who can be slapped around by government muscle. And with that, farewell, or Basvodanya, the champion.
This part right here is the end of the demo for BioShock, if I remember correctly. Pretty sure. I think once you go through this story, that's the end. I don't know why. Every time I see that scene, I think they are eventually gonna break through, even though I know that they don't, because I've stood there before and just waited. Yeah, if I remember correctly, this is the demo didn't have this part.
Now you've met Andrew Ryan, the
But
bloody king of
I wanted to start the game from scratch so I could show you. Honestly, the opening scene it really sets everything up perfectly. So here's the hack minigame. So you click on the tiles, it pulls them off, it shows you what the piece is. You click and drag the pipes. On console you can't click and drag, unfortunately. It makes it a lot easier on computer. And so there's this blue shit that goes through, and you basically just make a pipe from one end to the other, and without, hitting anything or basically causing a short circuit is what it's representing. So you just do this, you build something simple. I usually try and make it as straight of a line as possible. Sometimes you gotta work around certain pieces. Let's see if there's any, probably not in this, no. Sometimes there's pieces you have to work around, so you have to compromise and move certain pieces around. It's a pretty simple minigame, and I can see why they pulled it out of the second game, because it does get tedious, because you're doing it all the time. If you're like me and you want to hack all of the bots just so that they don't fuck you over eventually, I like to have them on my side, because as you can see, he's shooting enemies for me, so but like I said, you can hack these bots, and you can also hack vending machines, healing stations,
Security alert is in progress. Access is limited for the time being.
turrets.
We appreciate your patience.
You can hack safes.
You want to use the emergency
That's you can get a lot of valuable shit from the safes, but they're typically the saves are more difficult to hack.
Diamond ain't that kind, and frankly, I'm not even sure he's still human.
There's my machine gun. There should be enemies here. Usually there is. The fuck? Did I not push the... Oh, fuck. I didn't hit the lever. Jesus Christ. I hit that one. I didn't hit that one. Fuck out of the way, bro. Yeah, I mean, really, like, I stick with the electro bullet throughout most of the game because it just works in most situations. This fucking bot will not move. The thing about Electrobolt is when you upgrade it, it freezes even bigger enemies and shit. Like, it just works better throughout the game. And you know, with this game, it's like you get a certain amount of resources to upgrade certain things, so you have to pick and choose what you want to upgrade. So I'm gonna hack this vending machine just to show you another example here of the mini game. So I usually reveal as many as I can, and then I just try and make a straight line over. And then essentially just make it as straightforward as possible. Like I said, sometimes you do have to work around certain things. And also, you know, there's also just a big element of like, there's a lot of checking corners, checking anything you can basically, so that you know that you have ammo. That's very, very important, honestly. I know there's a lot of times in this game where I would, you know, be in a shitty situation and just not have the fucking ammo. So those things, those orange squares, you have to avoid. So you have to just work your way around them. Sometimes you get put in a spot where it's literally impossible to get back. Sometimes you have to literally switch this first piece to make it go the other way, or else it runs into nothing. So, you know, sometimes you do get screwed over, especially on the like higher level things to hack, like the safes. If I hack these turrets, it's just way easier because obviously they're not going to be shooting at you, they're going to be shooting at, you know, the shit that's coming after you. And especially in this area, you want all the help you can get because there's a bunch of different ways to, you know, for them to come at you. And it's honestly, it's easier than killing them. Same ammo too. It's just usually it's the move to hack those. And I usually hack just about everything in this game when I'm playing it for real. You know, I'm really just playing this to. I'm not gonna say this. I'm just playing it to show you. So, you know, your Eve Hypo gives you your, it gives you your plasmids, basically ammo for your plasmids, essentially is what it does. So, I'm gonna buy pistol rounds. Probably should have bought more fucking plasmid shit, but whatever, I'm not playing that hardcore right now. If you hack the vending machines, you get discounts on the items within it, which is nice. Like I said, I always fucking hack everything. If you hack these, enemies that try to heal themselves at these health stations will be damaged by them. So it's important, if you know that you're going to be in a situation where there's a bunch of enemies, to hack any health stations that are near. Because they will try and heal themselves. And if they do, then they just take damage. And usually they die. Oh, that's my inventory. I don't remember which way you go first here. Maybe this one? I guess. I was telling me to.
Genetic modifications, beauty is no longer a goal or even a virtue.
Why do we have two?
Okay, yeah. You have to get the incinerate plasmid, then get the telekinesis plasmid to get through here.
I can hear that splice like
There's
it's
nothing I
the
can do
4th
in
of
here
July.
right now.
Explosives are hard to come by down here. But if you get your hands on one of them telekinesis plasmids, you can catch the damn firebombs and toss it right back in its gob. Or anything else that might be standing in your way.
So if I remember correctly, you have to get the incinerate plasma in order to even get to where you get telekinesis. Pretty sure. See, this is the problem, is when you try to run through it, you don't pick up the loot, you don't pick up the ammo you need. Okay, if I remember correctly, yeah, right here's where you get incinerate. There's an audio diary there. Camera.
Security cameras. I can hear these weird things all around you.
Now,
Ryan's eyes and ears.
security cameras, in my opinion, are pretty important to hack because if they see you, they're gonna send a shit ton of those bots after you, and that sucks because it lasts for a fucking long time, it seems like. So as soon as I see one, I immediately fucking hack it. So now it actually works the opposite way. So if they see shit goes off, it fucks them over. So this is a tonic. This gives you, it's basically just a perk. Every time you hack something, you gain a little health and Eve. That's helpful, but later on in the game, you're gonna want to replace that with something better. Well, maybe you won't, you know what I mean? You can play it however you want, really. That's what I like about this game, is that there's a lot of different ways to play it.
Light up foes to 1,000 degrees. Warning, fire spreads.
So now I just select this. It sets a whole fire. Also, like, there's an element of being aware of what's around you when you're using plasmids. So, you know, obviously this gas or oil or whatever that is, if that gets hit with incinerate, it sets all of it on fire. You know, similarly, if they're standing in water, you can electrocute them, and you know, there's certain things that you can use to mix the elements. I don't think I can jump through there, can I? So now what I think I do is I use incinerate to melt the fucking ice that's down in that one door. Not that one, right? Is it the other one? There's one down here. Also that, yeah, the door controls can be zapped by electrovolt. There's a chunk of stuff to loot in here. I think there's a safe here too somewhere. Maybe not. Whoa, shit. That's I've never seen him throw that table up like that. Jesus fuck. Okay, here's the shotgun.
I'm no better. You're worthless. You're nothing. You're the same. Clean it up.
I don't like the shotgun too much, honestly. It's not too bad later in the game. And it's nice sometimes when you have the electric bucks, because you can shock them and shoot them with, you know, a fucking shotgun at the same time. There are definitely times where the shotgun's helpful. I like it against the big daddies. But it has a lot of kickback, and I was never a big fan of that. I always felt like I was better off using the machine gun with, like, you know, anti-armor rounds or whatever, armor-piercing rounds. This is where you get telekinesis. I'll switch that out with it.
Throw
Let's see, right. Now,
You can even catch grenades
as you play,
and
you
throw
can
them
unlock
back.
new tonic slots, new plasmid slots. And so how this works is you just... Oh, do I have to hit this? Yeah. You just left click and then hold it to hold an object, and then you just release it to throw it. I just hit her with a fucking tennis ball. I tell myself I'm not gonna do the looting, and then I go ahead and do it. I played this game too many times to not loot everything. That's the thing. Bandages heal you immediately. First aid kits you can hold on to and heal when you need them. 9 is the maximum you can have of either your hypo or your health. So now I go back here to that one spot. You know what I know where I'm gonna stop. At the spot where I fight the surgeon.
Approaching a little sister is a criminal offense.
What the hell is his name? Steinman. And I remember last time I played this, I was on hard and I got to Steinman and I had like no fucking ammo, so I had to beat him down with a wrench, like the entire health bar. And I just, yeah, you can buy auto hacks, so you don't have to play the little mini game. Boy, I might not make it to. Fuck. Jesus. Whole thing's fucking blocked off. Yeah, like I said, some of these are a pain in the fucking ass. If you don't reveal the right ones, you won't know that there's pieces that you can't go through in certain spots, so, oh shit. You know what I did last time when I played this? I skipped this room. I didn't go in here. Grab, like, the extra ammo and shit. I went straight through to the boss. I guess you could call it a boss, but... and here there's a save and all that shit, so there's ammo. So, I mean, like I said, this does get tedious because you do it a lot. I mean, like I said, you don't have to do it a lot, but you should, because it's definitely very helpful. And then, you know, sometimes you run out of pieces like this, and you have to do this shit, which is annoying. You know, sometimes you just gotta work around it. But, like I said, with BioShock 2, they changed that completely. I think that special ammo is the explosive buck. Pretty sure. Nope, it isn't. What is it? Armor piercing? Yep. So I'm pretty sure this is the boss right here. Steinman at least. Yeah, here.
What can I do with this one after
I should be fine.
It won't stay still! I want to make them beautiful, but they always turn out wrong! That one, too fat! This one, too tall! This one, too symmetrical! And now, what's this guy? An intruder! He's ugly! 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 Ugly!
Oh, it's a shotgun. Oh fuck, you know what I forgot to do? I should really go do that. Before I start playing. Let's hack this, because I have had him heal up over here before. And it really sucks. Because it basically gives him his whole fucking health bar back. There's one down at the bottom of the stairs too, I think. Oops. There, I should be fine now. Well, I don't need to hack this, but... Oh, that's where I get the... Maybe it isn't. Where did I get the electric box? I feel like I get that somewhere in this. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking wreck this guy. He thinks he's gonna heal, but I think it's... So this is the first time you get to see them, you know, like you basically get to decide whether you want to rescue or harvest these little sisters. Rescuing, you know, it gives you less Adam immediately, but it pays off in the end. If you harvest, you get the maximum amount, like right off the bat. So, I'm gonna rescue. It doesn't matter since I'm not saving, obviously, but yeah, if you rescue all of them, you get the good ending. If you harvest any of them, you get the bad ending. So that's just a tip for those who haven't played
The
yet.
reward will become clear in time. Be patient.
Tenenbaum's playing you for a sap.
And I'm just going to show you the Gatherer's Garden, and then that'll be it.
But looks don't make it so.
Gatherer's Garden is where you can buy tonics, plasmids, you know, just certain perks that can alter your playstyle. So this gives you like any sort of a melee attack from enemies, you take more or less damage. I usually go with the health and the Eve links because, you know, anytime you use a first aid, it gives you Eve. That's good. Like that helps a lot actually, and health upgrade obviously is always good. These three things are important, I think. Armored shell is nice to have though. If you harvest, you get like 160 atoms, so you can spend it on, you know, like these three or something like that. But if you rescue, you only have enough for one thing. I would go with this, but it's up to you. So like I said, there's a way to build a character the way you want to play, and that's one thing that's nice about it. You know, the gunplay is nice, the atmosphere is really cool, and just the whole game is just super well made. So honestly, if you haven't played it, it's time to fucking play it. Like you've waited too long, I think. It's been out since 2007, and now that the collection's out, you can get it for a pretty good price. So I'm glad you guys got to see it's so late. The light is literally coming in the room right now. But I'm glad you guys got to see BioShock. So I will talk to you very soon.